on the web, and in your hands. This is MDI TV.
We've got a problem with success. The successful development of new medical tests and treatments continues to drive healthcare spending higher, even as the deep recession has Americans cutting back on everything else. The latest figures on the nation's healthcare spending look at first glance like good news. The total grew at the slowest rate seen since the federal government began tracking spending 70 years ago. But before you let out that sigh of relief from medical inflation, here's the not so good news. Healthcare spending still grew faster than the economy as a whole in 2008, so it's consuming more of our total economy than ever before, up from 15.9% to 16.2%, or more than one of every $6 spent in the U.S. The total tab, $2.3 trillion per year. Hard to get your head around that, so let's break it down. That's about $73,000 per second, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And per person, almost $7,700, or $30,000 a year for a family of four. Now, of course, most people don't consume anywhere near that much health care. Most of it's spent on a relatively small proportion of people with chronic illnesses or acute episodes of illness. But with insurance and public programs, we all share the bill in some way. According to the Congressional Budget Office, about half of the growth of health care spending is due to advances in medical technology. So what does the nation get in return for its investment in these technological advancements? The most recent report card from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development shows Americans are only benefiting in a few areas, like cancer treatment, where new technologies and intensive screening have increased survival rates. The OECD report shows America is the top spender on health care in the world, spending almost twice as much as other developed nations. While life expectancy in the United States is on the rise, it's rising more slowly than in most other nations, leaving us near the bottom of developed countries. So how can the United States pay so much more than other nations and yet end up less healthy? Some health experts say it's because we want to be the firstest with the mostest, shelling out for the latest and greatest medical technologies without always waiting to see how much more health they actually produce. And then there's technology creep. That's when something shown to help a relatively small group of very sick people is then used on the much larger population of people with less serious illnesses who may stand to benefit less, even though it all costs the same. If the current upward arc of healthcare spending continues, it's estimated that within 10 years, healthcare will account for 20% of the U.S. economy, consuming $1 out of every 5.